16 years ago, we went through one of the hardest, most painful times in our marriage.
I was serving at a church in Las Vegas and really let my guard down. I had that affair with another staff member at that church.
God would speak to my heart and say, there's something going on. I actually had a dream one time that he was having an affair. And I went to him and I asked him about it, and he completely denied it.
I remember a particular service where I really felt that the Holy Spirit, through that message, was telling me I really needed to be honest about stuff that had happened. You need to get honest. You need to confess this. And I remember thinking in that moment, okay, yeah, I'll confess. In 25 years, I was not even imagining doing in that moment.
The Holy Spirit was prompting my heart at the same time. You need to ask him if he's been having an affair. You need to go to him and ask him.
I felt like the Holy Spirit had punched me in the gut. Randy, this is your last chance.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't acknowledge this and if you don't confess this, I'm out. The idea of God being out on me was so much greater that we began to have a conversation, and it didn't just come out. It took almost 3 days for me to finally admit that I was having this affair.
My first thought was, okay, I just lost everything in my life. I lost my marriage, I lost my church family, I lost, my best friend. Each morning when I would wake up and I'd just say, okay, God, can I leave today? Because in my mind, that was what you could do. If your husband had an affair, the thing to do was you leave. I finally just said, okay, I'm giving it all to you, God. And so it was a daily task. Every morning I wake up and say, okay, God, what do you want me to do today? And he repeated himself every day to me. He was like, just for today, I want you to stay. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just focus on today, because I've given you enough for right now.
Honestly, it became fuel for me. For the very first time, I actually felt authentic and real. I was no longer in hiding. I wanted that. It was freedom. I had lived in shame. I had lived in secret. And I just wanted to walk out and get healthy. I wanted to be made whole. There was such a desire for more.
Just an instant, I would be reminded of what happened and what he did. And I would start spiraling down. And we had many moments like that over the next year or two.
I knew by having the conversation with my pastors, it's probably going to be, the end of my ministry at that church. I knew by having to be honest with family, what potentially the effects could come and the fallout that could come from that.
Ultimately, it was going, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. And I'm going to walk through this pain. However long you're telling me to stay, I'm going to walk through this pain, and I'm going to do whatever it is I have to do.
Our church, they told us that they were going to share our story as part of it in his message. The timing of it was just it was incredible. And I remember the pastor sharing and saying, we thought that God brought Randy and Shelly here to be our kids pastors, but we realized that God brought Randy and Shelly here to get health and healing. And I remember when he said that and made that announcement at every service. You remember the church? They stood up and they gave a standing ovation.
And I've been asked too, how could you stay through that season and go through the hard? And what it did for both was it caused us to focus inward and to seek change. Because all I knew was, as hard as it was going to be, I just didn't want it to ever look the same. We never wanted to find ourselves back in this situation again. And when I started seeing the change in him, and it wasn't because Randy was choosing to change, or Randy was, doing things differently, it was because Randy was choosing to let the Holy Spirit just work in him and change him. And he started becoming a different man. And I know that for him, I was becoming a different woman.
16 years later, this isn't about us anymore. This is the power of God and what he can do through people if they just let him.
It's definitely not the headline of your life. It's not the headline of our life anymore. This is this chapter in our life, in our story, and God has totally redeemed us. And now our heart is that God would use our redemption story to help others.
If you're sitting there hearing our story, the one thing that I think I want everybody to know is God has this unique ability to take the messy, take the broken, take hurt, and turn it around for good.
I just remember telling Randy, I fully love you now. I can fully love you because for the first time in our marriage, I fully know you. And that we say that all the time with our children.
Fully known
And fully loved.